Boom. All right, peace and love. Y'all know what it is, man. It's your boy Bone Simmons, man. TNR Network, Teach and Reveal. Y'all know what we're here to do. It's one of them situations, man. There's a couple layers to it, but most importantly, we got to gear up, man. Like 2023 is some things in the work, man. And it's like this guy right here. I live in Georgia, like, right? You know, I'm from New York. If you follow the channel, but I currently reside in Georgia, so. And this is the problem that I have with the whole voting system and the whole political. I just think if you're a politician, I mean, 99% of the time, your agenda is not aligned with mine's, period. You know what I'm saying? It's not aligned with nothing that I can stand with. So I don't really agree with the necessity to vote. You know what I mean? But I was harassed by my parents. Plenty of people telling me, yo, go and vote for this guy because he's a Democrat and don't vote for Herschel Walker, even though Herschel Walker was definitely, it was obviously, I don't know. I don't know what they call hate speech these days. So I'm not even going to say my opinion of Herschel Walker, but I'm going to just say of course, he wasn't fit for nothing, but you know what I mean? He was chosen, you know what I mean, by a specific group of people for specific reasons. You know what I mean, but this guy that's supposed to be on our side that we just voted for helped get this guy in, and now he's the senator. He had a runoff; it was close. You know what I mean, but now he's the senator, right? And they didn't made me vote for this guy. They didn't coax me down to go how my vote counts. And now this man is the senator, and look what he's doing. Him and colleagues asked Biden to take action against anti-Semitism. Now, before you be biased and unreasonable and anti-black, let's explain. Of course, there's no problem with, you know what I mean, combating hate. We don't respect hate of any kind. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you know, truth is truth. And to deny somebody the freedom of speech is to deny them the constitutional rights that this so-called, you know, democracy was built on. And it's just further proof that, you know, we ain't got the same, you know, we don't get the same respect. But anyway, looking at this thing right here, right? They have Biden, our new president, right? A group of people. It's 125. I'm gonna just go ahead and get right to it. This right here is explaining it, right? Boom. This is saying a letter sent to the White House this week, right? Warnock and colleagues urge President Joe Biden to carry out a unified national strategy to monitor and take action against anti Semitism by coordinating across the Department of Homeland Security, the Department of Justice, the Department of Education, the Department of State, and other federal agencies and task force to holistically combat anti Semitism in Georgia and the nation. So now understanding that, right, is basically in layman's term, they saying they want to connect Homeland Security, right? That's people who monitor terrorists, right? So they want to deem you a terrorist, right? The Department of Justice, right? Further deeming you a terrorist. The Department of Education, they want to attack the school system and make sure that your kids will never even learn things that may not be in agreement with the perception that they want out there of them. You know what I'm saying? Now, it is important to say that, of course, there is some validity to the, you know, certain things being hateful because you can't say, like I said before, I mean, you can't say every Jewish person. And there is a certain sect of Judaism that is responsible for some horrific things. Just like that's like with any religion, though. Like there's Christians that, if you're Christians that cause harm to people based on their religious beliefs. You know what I mean? With the Muslims, we already know that. Like, I mean, so of course you can't say just because they practice, but we got to understand there is that factor, that faction, that Zionist faction or whatever. But it's kind of like, I won't say guilty by association personally, but it is guilty by association if we're talking about labeling a specific problem and we talking about identifying something. And you know what I mean, for African American people in this country, you know what I mean, it's no secret that our history has been hidden from us. So in our efforts of trying to figure out something or connect something, then you know what I mean, it's gonna have to be some dialogue. And to not allow us to have that dialect is just a it's a crime against our civil rights. Like bottom line. So we got to understand. Basically, listen, it's going to be a federal crime for you to spew anti-Semitism. And what they're calling is, and this is the thing, like that's scary. Like the things that they're calling anti-Semitic attacks are things like what they saying Kyrie did, which was nothing but tweet a film that he watched. You know what I mean? But the guy who did it is not anti-Semitic. The company can still maintain and profit off of what they deem anti-Semitic material. But if a black person, you know what I'm saying, promotes it, obviously because that's the only difference between him and um, Jeff Bezos, who owns Amazon and or a large percentage of it and co-signs this product being out. You know what I mean? So is a sticky situation. It ain't really sticky. It's a dirty situation, I should say. You know what I mean, it's a filthy situation. But this is the letter right here, right? And I'll leave right here. You can let the letter is self-explanatory. So it's basically saying, stating that, through these different factions, like I said, man, our educational system, they're gonna be corresponding, and what they want to do is build a task force. We know how corresponding with the FBI. You already know now. See, this is a major thing we got to understand too, that it can't, when they talk about monitoring anti-Semitism, we might as well just say monitoring African Americans. You know what I'm saying? Speech, because it's a known fact that it won't be coupled with this letter, but you'll see it on any other thing that they say is a known fact that they believe that African Americans is leading the movement of anti-Semitism. And you know what I'm saying? So they mainly talking about African Americans. They talking about these them Israelites that be on it. So you know what I mean? They trying to get federal laws and Homeland Security and everybody to form a collaborative task force to monitor. So that means speech and things is going to be monitored, and things like if what happened with Kyrie, what happened with Kanye, like those are going to be federal offenses where they probably going to be locked up for treasonable crimes, like you know what I mean, for things like that. So who's going to be monitored? How you going to monitor that? You know what I'm saying? Obviously, we got to understand that. So that's what's going to be happening to us. And the thing that, right? So with this letter asking for this, right? This is 125 signatures, right? See that? Jackie Rosen, United States Senator, James Ankford, Senator, Member of Congress, Kathy Manning. Look at this, Congress, senators. This how many signatures. This is, and let's see. Hold on. Let's make sure you see this is addressed to dear President Biden, right? So they, as members of the House and Senate, bipartisan task forces for combating anti-Semitism. They made that themselves. So that's the self-proclaimed House of Senate bipartisan task forces for combating anti-Semitism. That's not in the presidential cabinet, but that's a mini little shelf they made of their own, probably. I mean, but without dragging on, like I really felt like this was something that was necessary for just people to be aware of, because there's a lot of moves being made behind the scenes to, you know what I'm saying, to further incriminate your blackness. You know what I mean? So let's understand that. Let's pay attention. And you know what I'm saying, let's educate ourselves so we could be in these, you know what I'm saying, in these rooms, and we could be knowledgeable and we can know these fights, man. So we could try to, you know what I'm saying, help ourselves if we can before these laws get all the way down and that gavel come down and somebody's done. Because obviously, in their naming, they're saying professional athletes and singers. Like they're not saying Kyrie and Kanye, but at the same time, this is a threat, man. They feel if they had to say right now, they would lock them brothers up, man. They would shut them down. You see the lack of remorse, that how they came at them. You know what I mean? They wanted blood. You know what I mean? So they're fighting not harder, they fighting smarter, man. They got to this guy Warnock, that I voted for like an idiot. So now he with them sending letters to Biden to lock us up, man. And this is what I mean. So don't nobody tell me to vote no more, man. Don't nobody tell me to vote for nobody that's about to stab me in the back and be, you know what I mean, colluding with somebody that wants to lock me up for inquiring about my history. Leave me out of it, man. I can't vote for the rat or the snake. I'm not gonna choose. But let's stay woke. Let's understand. And this is the last point that I need to make about that, right? About this whole group that needs a whole bunch of government agencies to collaboratively make a task force to combat. Why is this much energy given to such a minuscule problem? Obviously, if y'all got this much power to make your own branch in government to monitor it, then come on, man. You know your respect is intact. You want your name and your face card intact. What really, if y'all want to make a collaborative task force to stop something, come on, man. The numbers will really show how African Americans is getting gunned down by police. How much more things is you know what I mean is appropriate for us to be taking action against right now, rather than for y'all to be ganging up on who's talking about spreading the truth. You know what I mean? So we got to understand. But I understand as long as we in this infrastructure, we always going to be considered the enemy. And anything we try to grasp onto is always going to seem like a problem. And that's the problem. That's the biggest problem. Like, why are we such a problem? TNR Teach and Reveal, y'all know what I'm here to do, man. I had to, man. Tap in though. It ain't no videos about this on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? And this is a story I read about, you know what I'm saying, outside of social media. But it's like within our culture, if Shade Room or something ain't posted, dudes ain't gonna know about it. So you know what I'm saying? And they ain't gonna post this. You know what I mean, because ain't nobody gonna pay them to post this. You know what I mean, but it's what it is, man. Like I said, I know what I'm here to do. Follow, like, subscribe, man. I'm out of here. Peace out. Truth, knowledge, it's the bread of life, right? So we're gonna get right into it without the super long intro.